I thought marriage was dead to us apart. I guess I was wrong. Shame on me. My name is Amanda, 31, and my husband Lucas, 33, of 5 years, wants to end our marriage. It came out of nowhere, but at the same time, I wasn't all that surprised. The last month of us as a couple was cold and distant. We were no longer intimate, no more sweet late night dates, and he always had an excuse to leave the house. Lucas has acted like this before, and whenever I asked him about it, he would tell me it was because work was stressing him out. So when he sat me down during dinner after I made a complete course, he said, Amanda, I'll always love you. Why do you say it like that? I chuckled, pegging his grave words being something of a joke. Because this will be the last time I can say it without feeling like I'm lying to you. My heart sank. What are you talking about? I am no longer in love with you. What? How? I bent my head down, staring down at the wooden table. Tears began to well in the corner of my eyes. It's so easy to feel pain, but describing it is another story. So that's it? Aren't you going to fight for us? 5 years of marriage, 8 years of being together, 10 years of friendship down the drain, and you're ready to throw in the towel? Lucas closed his eyes before sighing a deep breath. I'm sorry. Do you really want to know the truth? I think I deserve it. I snapped. I fell in love with someone else. I didn't know that I could hurt more. It wasn't anything I did, but he couldn't keep it in his pants. And I'm assuming you have already acted on these feelings? He nodded, scratching the back of his neck. Who is it? It's not important. I deserve to know the truth. Just a woman I work with. We've been working long hours and it only started up recently. How recently? A few months. I wanted to throw up. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. No matter how much I would press for the woman's name, he wouldn't give it to me. My once sad tears turned to angry ones. I got up from my seat, leaving my half-eaten meatloaf and vegetables, and went into our shared bedroom. I locked the door and sobbed uncontrollably, not wanting him to see me fall apart. As I cried, I looked around the room, seeing pictures of our adventures and happiness, his favorite jacket draped over his desk chair. I heard a knock on the door. He asked, Can I come in, please? Go away! I'm not here to talk. So what do you want? I was going to get a few pairs of clothes and stay at a hotel. I wanted to tell him to get the hell away from me, but another part of me knew this would be the last time I saw him, and I got to control when and how. I opened the door and saw his sunken face. No tears left to capture, but he was hurting in some way. I'm sorry. Don't talk to me. He walked past me and began to grab a few shirts, boxers, and pants. I sat at the edge of the bed and began rethinking our relationship. Where did it go wrong? What had I done in a past life to be granted a lying, cheating husband? Someone I wholeheartedly trusted with my entire being. Not once have I ever thought about partaking in an affair. He was always enough for me, even on days when we were arguing over something so small. Sure, we had struggles, but we always came back to each other. 10 years, just like that, down the drain. Lucas didn't even bother saying anything as he left. With one backpack strapped to his shoulder, he left the house. I allowed myself to cry and lounged the next day. I didn't feel any better. To rectify my situation, I invited 2 friends over, Linda and Connie, my sister, Krista, who is 29 years old. When the 3 came over, they opened a wine bottle for me and ordered takeout food. We grubbed, laughed, and watched superhero movies all day long. I couldn't stand watching rom-com movies anytime soon. Linda was the most sympathetic, as her own mother went through something similar. Connie was my oldest friend, so she was already extremely supportive. As for my sister, Krista, she was mostly quiet whenever we spoke directly about Lucas. My sister and I were near in age, so by default we were close as well. When I started dating Lucas, she had her ears wide open over everything. Lucas was my first serious boyfriend, so she knows how much he meant to me. It was just Krista and me now, as our parents have since passed from a car accident a few years ago. I still can't believe what he did, Connie said, pouring me another glass of wine. I can. All men are dogs. You guys were friends before even dating, so you would think he would have the decency to tell you when it first happened. I thought I knew him. In the corner of my eye, I noticed Krista was shifting in her seat. As I said, she was quiet and barely touched her wine glass. It kind of bothered me. Maybe it was more of a shock than my friends, considering she's known him the longest and we were both a part of his family. Perhaps it was like losing a brother. I wasn't the only one who noticed her demeanor. Connie said, "You all right there, girlie?" Me?" Connie nodded. "Of course," she said nervously. I mean, considering the circumstances, I guess I'm in shock." "Were you close to Lucas?" "You can say that." "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" "Cool it, Connie," Linda half teased. Krista took a deep breath before turning to her bag. She then pulled out a packet of paper. "You have been served." It was the divorce papers. "What? How do you have these?" "Well, he gave them to me." "It takes longer than a day to process divorce papers, and why would he have my only sister give them to me?" "I told him it would be easier if it came from me than someone else." "You have been talking to him?" "Yes, I mean, can you really be mad at me about that? He's been a part of our family for years." "How long have you known he's wanted to end things?" "It wasn't like that. He barely told me." Before I could say another word, Linda put her hand on my knee. "Let me handle this." I was so confused. "Just say what you need to say." "What are you talking about?" "You're hiding something." "I agree. You've been acting rather odd." "I am acting odd? Look in the mirror." "Why are you the one to serve me my divorce papers?" "I told you." "I know what you said, Krista." I had a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach, like I knew what I was thinking, but I was too afraid to put it out into the world. A real sister would have warned me as soon as her husband thought about divorcing me. "He just told me." "Why in the hell would he have to tell you? This is what boggles me." She opens her mouth to say more, but suddenly she bursts out crying, covering her eyes with her palms. "I'm so sorry. We didn't." And then it all came together in a big picture. "You're the other woman?" And he said it was someone from work, but he was too chicken to tell me the truth? And with my own flesh and blood? What is wrong with you? "I'm sorry." "I cannot believe you. How could you do this to me?" "I couldn't help it. Love just snuck in." "What? That's it? That's your excuse? If you want any type of relationship with me, you will not stay with him." "I can't control who I love, Amanda." "You can control who you sleep with." She stayed silent. What other excuse could she throw at me? "How long?" "A few weeks." "You're lying. Lucas said a few months, and now you say a few weeks? What's the truth?" "Don't yell at me, okay? It takes two to tango." "You're my sister. What can't you get? How long?" "Almost a year." She blurted out. I couldn't believe my ears. The two people I loved most betrayed me for almost a year, and who knows how long they have been emotionally cheating. Barely above a whisper, I whimpered, "How could you?" "I don't know." Before I could utter another word, she said, "I should go." She got up from the couch, slipped on her shoes, and walked out of the room. More angry tears formed in the corner of my eyes. I was in disbelief. My whole world was crumbling down. Who was I supposed to turn to? Our parents were dead and gone. The only family I had was Lucas and my friends, and they had families of their own. I felt so alone. I'm so sorry, honey. You don't deserve this. I curled up in a cocoon with my head on Connie's lap and the rest sprawled across Linda's. Connie massaged my scalp and I fell asleep in a deep haze. I had a horrible nightmare. In the distance, I saw Krista and Lucas laughing amongst themselves, kissing, hugging, touching. I woke up screaming. Connie and Linda were still fast asleep, barely turning. In the next coming weeks, I had to make arrangements in order. The house is in both our names, but Lucas had decided that he would pay the remaining balance and take full ownership. I was left with the car, our timeshare in Florida, and the cabin up north. Together, it would cost roughly the same as the house. I wasn't satisfied. If anything, I would want the house and he can have the rest. I'm sure they were probably intimate in the cabin and our timeshare, but I decided to let it go. What else could I do? Suddenly, I got a phone from Connie. Hey, what's up? I need you to sit down right now. What do you mean? Amanda, please, sit down. I do as I'm told. Well, I was at the pharmacy to pick up my allergy medicine and saw Krista and Lucas. You don't have to tell me they're going public already. No, worse. She was buying prenatal vitamins. I think she's pregnant. I was stunned. My prenatal vitamins, pregnant with my ex-husband. Amanda, are you there? I dropped my cell phone but quickly picked it up and pressed it into my ear. I have to call you back. I need to process this on my own. Okay, let me know if you need anything. I can come by later and that won't be necessary. Bye, talk later. I hung up on her, too numb to feel bad at the moment. No wonder she was barely touching her glass of wine. Was this the tipping point for telling me the truth? Not that they knew it was wrong or that I deserved to know, but because he had gotten her pregnant? We were waiting to have some kids of our own, but he wanted to wait. I aimlessly took a cup of wine to my lips, tears streaming down my cheeks. I set ablaze everything in my path in rage, anger, and anguish. I doused the carpet with wine up and down the living room floors, throwing dishes and screaming at walls. I took our wedding bottle of wine, a special bottle we were saving for our next anniversary, and took a swig before venturing into his bedroom. I made a heart out of the wine liquid into the sheets, ensuring it seeped into the mattress. When I turned on my heel, I saw his prized possession. His flat-screen TV lay parallel to the bed. The last third of the wine bottle, I poured it across the screen before mastering enough strength to tip it off the stand, cracking whatever was manageably left. I passed out on the bathroom floor, wine staining my lips. I woke up with a massive hangover, but with little regret. I thrashed the kitchen, the bedroom, and now the bathroom. I hurled and hurled into the toilet, not even bothering to flush it. It was a disaster. Did I bother cleaning any of it up? Nope. I left the house in a rush, packing my clothes and any belongings I owned solely. I stayed at Linda and her husband's house. After a few weeks, I was getting my life back in order by returning to work and trying to find an apartment nearby. This was until I got a text message from Lucas. Please leave the house by tonight. My heart sank, but I quickly texted back, I'm already gone. Okay, thanks. My entire stomach was in knots. I knew what was going to come next. After a few hours, I received another text which was more shocking than the last. She's pregnant. Are we even now? I expected the cops at the front door or even a slur of curse words going my way. I had to chuckle. Lucas truly doesn't care, but at the same time he knows what he did was entirely wrong, which makes all the pain hurt that much more. Instead, I wrote back, not even close. See you in court. As far as I was concerned, they had to change the carpet and flooring in all the rooms I contaminated. And the TV issue, well, I ruined the electrical circuit. It looks like I went out with a bang. I haven't seen Lucas or my sister since. They have one child together, but that's all I know. Krista has tried reaching out numerous times. But like I told her, there is no relationship with me if she is with him.